Chelsea have seen a €40 million, £34 million, bid for Atletico Madrid striker Samu Omorodion rejected, a report has revealed. The Blues are on the hunt for a new striker this summer and, after months of chasing Napoli's Victor Osimhen, have decided they want a cheaper signing, with the Nigerian's release clause of over £100 million believed to be too high. Aston Villa's John Duran is also of serious interest, but Gianluca Di Marzio was the first to reveal that Chelsea have moved 20-year-old Omorodion, who spent last season on loan at Alaves from Atletico, to the top of their wish list. Links with Omorodion were later backed up by a number of sources, with Fabrizio Romano going one step further to reveal Chelsea had seen a formal bid of an initial €30 million, with add-ons to take the deal up to €40 million turned down. Atletico is said to have no desire to part ways with Omorodion, who has 4 years left on his contract and will return to the club this summer after scoring 9 goals in 35 games with Alaves. Reports on Omorodion's release clause at Atletico have differed, but most have agreed that the value sits at somewhere between €90 million, £76 million, and €100 million, £85 million. Interestingly, Chelsea's interest in Omorodion emerged shortly after Relevo tipped Atletico to try and sign midfielder Conor Gallagher this summer. Villa striker Duran remains a target after interest was reignited during contact from Villa over Gallagher's availability. Villa are also keen on left-back Ian Martin but will only pursue a Chelsea player if they can sell Duran to the Blues, who continue to value Martin at his £35 million release clause. Omorodion spent last season on loan at Deportivo Alaves, where he scored 8 goals and enhanced his reputation as one of the most promising young strikers in Europe. Atletico are hugely reluctant to let Omorodion leave, and sources claim they have already turned down one bid of almost £35 million for the player this summer from a club other than Chelsea. It is also believed that Omorodion would like to stay at Atletico and fight for his place, but that has not stopped Chelsea holding talks over the player. Chelsea's interest in Omorodion has not ended their pursuit of Duran at this stage, but the Villa man may well need to drop his wage demands in order to secure a move to Stamford Bridge. Villa are interested in Chelsea players Conor Gallagher and Ian Martin, but the Midlands club only intend to make firm bids if Duran goes the other way. Another striker option Chelsea have looked at is to try to re-sign academy graduate Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth, and the club expect to bring in a new striker in the coming weeks. Chelsea's chase for a striker to back up Nicholas Jackson was never going to be easy. Forwards are always in demand, and it's especially hard to find one good enough to pay good money for who is also willing to accept a backup or rotation role. Their best chance is perhaps to find a player who is already in that position, and that's perhaps why Ollie Watkins' backup at Aston Villa, John Duran, is top of the pile right now. Fraser Gillen of Team Talk dropped an exclusive earlier today which claimed that Chelsea understand the terms to buy Duran after their talks with Aston Villa this week. It's up to them whether they meet Villa's terms or not. While Duran is waiting and keen on a move, Chelsea have eyes on another forward, and presumably want to sound them out before committing a reported £40 million, or thereabouts, to land Duran. What we can conclude from this situation is that Chelsea know exactly what they need to do to sign Duran after extensive talks with Aston Villa in the past week. Villa don't want to sell, but they know they need to bring money in. That allows them to set a pretty concrete price for Chelsea, and now the Blues know where they stand. Presumably they know spend some time exploring this other option, and see what the final cost of that might be. With both options scoped out, they can weigh up the risk and reward each way. We're not sure who this player might be. Lois Openda and Dominic Solanke are two names who have come up this week, but each feels too expensive to be a realistic target if we're truly looking for a backup to Jackson. Chelsea are now turning their intentions to a few other Premier League strikers as options. Phillips says, SPTC sources have heard Chelsea are preparing to walk away from the deal, perhaps putting pressure on Villa to reduce their asking price for him. As of last night, talks had continued yesterday, and I do believe talks will continue again today. There is still every chance this deal gets done, but it will need one side to fold on their stance. Villa are not only asking for £40 million for Duran, but they are also asking for too much of the fee up front. SPTC sources have now heard Chelsea could soon walk away from this one and turn attentions elsewhere. Chelsea have been speaking internally on other options they could go for this week, and the most recent names mentioned to me via our sources is Ivan Toney of Brentford, Dominic Solanke of Bournemouth, and Evan Ferguson of Brighton. There is still interest in Sergio Guirassy of Stuttgart, and Tammy Abraham of Roma too. Other names are also on our shortlist. Chelsea are accelerating a move for Benfica defender Antonio Silva before Manchester United can get their hands on him instead, a report has claimed. Back in November, Sky Sports Deutschland expert Florian Plettenberg insisted Silva was Man United's top centre-back target for the summer of 2024. Sources have also confirmed to Team Talk about the conditions behind a potential deal with the Red Devils. However, according to The Sun, Chelsea have now thrown a spanner in the works by opening talks for Silva this month. Team Talk revealed back in October that Silva was on Chelsea's shortlist, admired specifically by head coach Mauricio Pochettino. The latest update suggests Chelsea have identified Silva as a January target after scouting him recently, even approaching Benfica about a deal already. It is claimed that Chelsea have proposed a £52 million package that would include Armando Broja going to Benfica as a counterpart. The Portuguese club, though, had little interest in that suggestion and are waiting until Silva's £87 million release clause is activated. Now it is over to Chelsea to meet that fee if they are indeed confident that Silva is the right target to reinforce the defence with. The report refers to Benoit Badiashile and Axel Disasi struggling to cement their places at Chelsea since their transfers from Monaco last January and August respectively. Furthermore, Thiago Silva is out of contract at the end of the season, when he will be approaching his 40th birthday. It puts his future in doubt, although he remains one of Chelsea's best players. At the age of 20, namesake Antonio Silva could become a long-term successor to the Brazilian if Chelsea can agree a deal to buy him from Benfica. Benfica have enjoyed Silva's services throughout his entire professional career so far after developing him within their academy. To date, he has 67 appearances to his name for the club, including 23 this season. Silva has also been capped 7 times by the Portugal national team. Other than Chelsea and Man United, he has also caught the attention of Liverpool, but there is no sign of them trying to match a January attempt to sign him just yet. Indeed, most clubs are reluctant to spend excessive amounts on players in January. RB Leipzig striker Lois Openda has been identified as a player with an ideal profile for the needs of Chelsea and their new boss Enzo Maresca, Team Talk has learned. Chelsea are keen to bring in a top forward that can help propel them back into the top 4 in the English Premier League. They have had talks with multiple talents and have even had the opportunity to do a deal for John Duran. However, they have eyes on another player who has impressed recruiters at the club. Sources have confirmed that the club are tracking Openda and he ticks a lot of the boxes for Chelsea. He could move this summer and the 24-year-old is keen to play at the highest level possible. He is contracted until 2028 and there is no pressure on Leipzig to sell, but their model is to develop and move players on for a profit. His ability to play across the front three and drop into spaces is a huge bonus and a key part of what Chelsea are looking for under new manager Maresca. He wants a forward who can fit his system and be part of an attacking group rather than a dependence on a lone number 9. The Belgian certainly caught the eye when stepping off the bench on Monday, setting up Romelu Lukaku for what looked a well-worked equaliser, only to see the goal chalked off for a somewhat harsh handball in the build-up. With the Chelsea emphasis being on the system rather than around individuals, we understand that is one of the major stumbling blocks that has halted their interest in long-term target Victor Osimhen, who is not seen as well suited to the new style of play and identity. Maresca's hope of a deal for Openda may or may not be impacted by the fact that his release clause is not actually active this summer. Team Talk understands that a bid of £70 million will trigger a move in summer 2025 from RB Leipzig.